Today's video is technically being posted the day after my birthday, but it was technically my birthday an hour ago at the time of recording this, so I think it's legally required that you drop a like on this video for my birthday, so that is much appreciated. I am 21, not 45, but thank you for the comments that I'm sure are going to exist. So a good handful of games, or not a good handful, I've watched games today. Why would I preface that I watched games today? That's stupid. So I watched Bulls versus Nuggets, Magic versus Mavericks, the fourth quarter of Jazz versus Pelicans, and then the Hornets versus the Trailblazers. So first thing I want to talk about right out of the gate is Bulls versus Nuggets, because this was a game that had me very much heated, not because of the game itself. Of course, I'm not happy that the team lost, but it's not like it's that uncommon, so I'm not losing sleep over it. It was the discourse that came from this game. So Wendell Carter Jr. is once again the number one guy in the target of, or in the what am I trying to say? In the crosshairs of Bulls fans once more, and it drives me up the fucking wall. I almost titled the video about it, and then I realized no one's going to care about this, so just let me try and go through this as quickly as possible, because this is something that has frustrated me a lot. Wendell Carter is a very, very good team defender. Offensively, he is solid. He's a good finisher. He has a decent mid-range shot, and he's even working on extending his game out to three. He's a very good playmaker for a center for the amount of opportunities he gets. He averages nearly 3 assists per game, and he barely gets opportunity to play make. So very much pro Wendell Carter from my point of view. Defensively, the one weakness he has is that one-on-one, he's not really a stopper. He is a team defender more so than a one-on-one defender. Now, I have had the mentality for a very long time that team defense matters much more than one-on-one defense. To put this into perspective, I'd say Zach LaVine is pretty much an equal an equal one-on-one defender to Wendell Carter. But Wendell is a much better team defender, and if you look in the advanced stats, it's no question who is the better defensive player. Wendell, the Bulls are a couple of points better, I think 6 points better defensively when Wendell is in the game versus off. And I'll tell you, the Bulls this year have been much better with Wendell than without him, because he's been out, and when they were out, they had a poor record, and they've been a little bit above 500 with Wendell actually playing. Now, this is the second game in a week where he got killed by the two best centers in the NBA. He had 50 dropped on him by Joel Embiid, and in this game, Jokic had, I believe he was just short of 40. Yeah, he had 39, 14 and 9 on 18 for 28 shooting, and I tell you what, I'm surprised he only shot 61%, because in that fourth quarter, he dropped 17, and man, when I tell you this guy could not fucking miss. Jokic has the best touch in the NBA as far as I'm concerned. The amount of hook shots, the fadeaways, the face-up jumpers, taking it off the dribble. He got a fucking poster dunk on Patrick Williams. It was ludicrous what Jokic was doing to this team. And everyone wants to blame that on Wendell. And I will say, Wendell, again, not the best one-on-one defender. I even talked about this on Twitter with King of the Fourth Quarter. He was like, look, Wendell is a good team defender, but it'd be nice if we had a stopper. That's true. My question is, who is the stopper, first of all? So who's replacing Wendell? Because I'm not seeing any obvious name right now. Second of all, why are we getting on the back of Wendell for not stopping Nikola Jokic, who just had 47 a couple of weeks ago on, in my opinion, the defensive player of the year, Rudy Gobert? I don't understand why Wendell, and even if you watch the game, and this is the thing that infuriates me the most, I feel like half of the people who say this stupid bullshit aren't watching the fucking game, because Wendell played pretty good defense on Jokic. Every shot that Jokic put up, there was a hand there. It just didn't matter, because Jokic has an incredibly good hook shot that it just doesn't matter what you do. He even had a layup where he was draped all over him. He just put it off of the glass like it was nothing. Jokic is ridiculous. It was not Wendell's fault. Embiid is ridiculous, not Wendell's fault. And overall, the team's defense was still better when Wendell Carter was on the floor, just as it always is. And I care more about the team defense than the one-on-one matchup, even though the Bulls definitely lost this one because of the one-on-one matchup. I don't have many other takeaways from this one other than I'm going to talk about Jokic in a second. The Nuggets, the supporting cast this time around was pretty fine. MPJ with 15 and 17 on 70% shooting. Jamal Murray was good. He hit a three-pointer that was kind of the dagger late in this game, which he honestly should have drove, but like he made it, so it was fine. This one, Kobe White was pretty good. His first 2.5 quarters, he sucked, but he played well in the fourth quarter and especially in the second half of the third quarter. Zach LaVine finishes this one with just 20 points, 23 points, and I know 23 points on relatively good efficiency is cool, but like Zach LaVine really has to have 25 plus for this team to beat a team as good as the Denver Nuggets. Thaddeus Young was good. Denzel Valentine sucked dick, and it pisses me off because I was praising him so much earlier this year, and then he has been terrible ever since. But let's talk about Nikola Jokic. I put out a tweet today that was relatively controversial after this game, or like at some point during it, where I was like, is Nikola Jokic not the greatest offensive center of all time? Now, I will attest that if we're talking about like literal all-time rankings, you're going to give the edge to people who have the, all-time stats, the guys who did it for a decade. I understand that, but let's just talk about like peak offensive talent from the center position. Is Jokic not the best offensive producer of any center ever at their peak? Now, the contenders for this would have to be Hakeem Olajuwon at his peak, with him being the incredible post scorer that he is, Shaq being the unstoppable force that he is. But right now, just to put this all into perspective, Nikola Jokic is averaging 25 points, 11 rebounds, nearly 9 assists, and he is doing this on 56, 41, 88 shooting splits. So just to be clear, nearly a 27-point triple-double on nearly 55, 40, 90. What the fuck is that? That is some of the most absurd numbers. He averaged 20 points per game last year. He's jumped that up to 7 on 4% better shooting from the field, 10% better from 3, and 9 or 7% better from the free throw line. Averaging more assists, I believe, on also less turnovers. If I'm trying to find the fucking stat. No, the exact same turnovers, 1.5 more assists per game. I mean, he certainly has a case. I'm not going to say definitively that he is, because, I mean, there's certainly, like, Shaq's 2001 peak. I could definitely see a case for that being a better offensive season from a center, even though offense is more than scoring, but Shaq's scoring is better than Jokic's. But, like, Jokic is, at bare minimum, the second best post player in the NBA. He is, this year, a very good shooter. Don't know if it's going to hold up, but right now he sure as shit is. And then he is easily the best passing center of all time. So, Jesus Christ, I'm 8 minutes in. I've been talking about this game for way too long. But yeah, that's that. I just want to talk about Jokic a bit. Let's talk about, well, what does help is that the rest of these games I actually have very little to say about, so that won't be too big of a struggle. Mavericks versus Magic. This game was shitty for most of it, and then the Magic actually made a fourth quarter run that did not end up mattering. Shout out to Kristaps Porzingis. He has continued to suck. Shout out to Josh Richardson. He has continued to suck. Shout out to Jalen Brunson, because he has continued to be great. 24 points on 70% shooting. He was hitting a lot of difficult shots in this one. And Brunson's stats now this regular season, I think, are up to like 13 points per game. Yeah, they are. Brunson he still gets like big minutes. Like he got 30 in this game, but like he should honestly be starting and given more of a role. Like I just think Jalen Brunson's really good. I get that he's like a 6-foot guard, and like how impactful is a 6-foot guard actually, but he's pretty damn solid to me. Doncic was amazing in this game, as you would expect. Also shot well from 3 once more, 5 from 10. Vucevic, that guy's playmaking has improved quite substantially. He was always a good playmaker, but in this game he had 8. He had a triple-double the other day. His vision is just definitely much better. Evan Fournier hit a couple of difficult shots. He finished this one with 26. But just in general, I didn't have too many thoughts about this game. There wasn't some unique thing that happened. It was just like, yep, that is the Mavericks, and that is the Magic. That's pretty much it. So the fourth quarter of Jazz versus the Pelicans, I decided to watch this fourth quarter because the Pelicans were up by like 12, and I was like, I bet you the Jazz are going to make a comeback. And they did make a comeback, but then they ended the game very stupidly. So they were down 3 with like, I think 40 seconds left, and they were trying to get a three-pointer. They passed around the perimeter a couple of times, weren't really getting any space. And then Mike Conley catches the ball, and he does a dribble move, and then he pump fakes, defender doesn't jump, and then he tries to lean into his defender and shoot it to try and draw a foul. There was still 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Mike Conley is usually a pretty cool-headed guy, not making too many mistakes, but that was a very stupid decision. Like, even if he really thought he was going to get that foul call, like, I don't understand that decision whatsoever. Like, there's 15 seconds left. This is the best shooting team in the NBA right now. You can get a better look than that. So as a result, the Jazz lose this game, and they're actually on a bit of a skid lately. By that I mean I think they've lost 2 games in the last week. They lost to the Heat not too long ago, so looking a little less absurd. But yeah, the Pelicans, of course, this was an awesome game from Zion and Brandon Ingram and all that, as it usually is. I also noticed in this game, Lonzo hit 2 mid-range shots in this fourth quarter. At least that I saw. I might have missed 1 or 2 here or there, but like he's I looked up his stats. He's shooting like 45% on long twos this year. So shout out to Lonzo. That's like that and finishing are the biggest weaknesses in his offensive game right now, and he finishes this game with 23. He's just been on a tear lately, and I'm honestly getting to the point where I was thinking like, yeah, Lonzo, he's just going to be a fantastic like role player starting point guard. But it's getting to the point where I'm like, is there still some hope for Lonzo to be a star-level point guard? Because if he just keeps going on this streak that he has been on lately, then yeah, there certainly is. God damn it, the camera battery. All right, as I said, shout out to Lonzo for being good. I got cut off by the camera dying. And the last game I watched was Blazers versus Hornets. This game was kind of lame. So it was very good in the first half. Terry Rozier was hitting shots. Malik Monk, did he continue to be good in this game? Yes, he did. He had 19. By the way, Malik Monk, like, I don't know if you might not have heard, he's been amazing, like, the last couple of games. Like, he's averaging 20 over the past couple of games. So shout out to Malik Monk. But this game was, I think it was exactly tied at 59 at halftime. But it was not a good game at the end. So LaMelo went off, so shout out to LaMelo for that. But the overall game for the Hornets kind of fell apart. What helped was that for the Blazers, Robert Covington had probably his best game as a Blazer, unless I'm forgetting some other game or maybe I didn't watch it. But like Damian Lillard shot horribly in this game. It was really just like the role players for once. Like, this is one of the few games where with the Blazers it was like Dame's not doing shit and they're still winning because Gary Trent came in with a contribution and his Cantor was good. Carmelo Anthony brought in 29 points off of the bench. I knew he was making shots. I didn't know he was going off like that. Jesus. I knew he was scoring, but damn. I guess he's trying to reclaim that Melo nickname, even though it's a very stupid argument. And then Robert Covington hitting his threes. I mentioned in, I think, the last video I talked about the Blazers, Robert Covington has not shot well from 3 this year. So shout out to Robert Covington for shooting well from 3 in this game. 5 for 7 in this one. So yeah, that's all I really had to say today. I was just very heated about the Wendell thing and also wanted to talk about Jokic. I guess that was basically what this video is, and I didn't talk about the other games. But sometimes you watch a game and you're like, there's not much takeaway here. And that's pretty much what this one was. Also, P.J. Washington, he made a very nice pass to, I think it was a cutting Malik Monk, and I want to shout out P.J. for that. So, good job, P.J. Although I got to appreciate 42 yesterday, 1 for 8 today. Talk about flipping a switch in the wrong direction. Yeah, that's not great. But yeah, basketball. That's not the outro. The outro is, if you're watching to this point, first of all, what's wrong with you? This content is horrible. Second of all, comment build around Buddy. If you are in the locker room chats during these games, then you know what I'm talking about. Build around Buddy. All right, bye.